No. I really don't
Hello,
know anymore,
everybody.
but,
Yeah,
it's fine.
welcome back to Zero Interest. Coming back again with Mob Psycho Episode 2. And take it away, Casey. How do you feel about this?
It's pretty good, I guess. So, synopsis, we're actually doing those again. GeForce, fuck off, I don't care, you got an update for your drivers. So this episode starts with, I don't know, I think it was, Mob
It's
at the,
Mob waking up in bed, and it's introducing us to him.
right, and he is a
Yeah,
second year in middle school, which is the most important, difficult, I think something like that, time
it's the
in a
time of
young man's life
adolescence.
when a
Yeah.
boy becomes a man and such.
hmm
When people are studying or going to clubs or pursuing their interests or trying to find romance. Um,
It's the time before you. It's the time before like third year of middle school in which you'd be studying to get good tests. You can get into a good high school, and it's the time before high school in which you have to study to get into a good university.
mm,
So it's kind of the freest time, I guess, he has left.
pretty much. Like, it's kind of weird, the whole getting into a good high school thing. That, to me, that's just me,
Yeah,
though.
but that's
That's
Japan,
that's
so
Japan, yeah. Um, I mean, I guess that's kind of a thing in America with private schools, a little bit. Like, you can study to get into those, but a lot of that is just you need to pay the fees regardless. I don't know. I don't know how anything works in other countries. But it's not a thing here. So yeah, Mob's thing is that he wants to get the pretty lady that he saw in the previous episode, and he goes to the exorcism office and talks about this with what was his name?
Reagan,
Ray.
after Reagan does his exorcism massage, that
Yeah, to cure the porn curse.
because it's like people are so superstitious. The guy has a shoulder ache. He's like, "There's a curse on my shoulder," and so then Reagan just kind of massaged it. He's like, "Oh, it's all fine now."
I can see the logic, though, of calling it a porn curse. Of, hey, my shoulder's stiff. Oh, yeah, you've been
Yeah,
masturbating too much. I get that.
yeah.
That's a pretty subtle thing. Good for them, writers. Good job. Pretty.
And he's like, and Mom's like, "And here's how much for one of our massage deals."
Hmm. Which, in fairness, Reagan's apparently pretty good at that. Maybe he should just open a massage parlor instead, but
That
no.
that is considered in the show. It is maybe I should just, but
Hmm.
because a lot of his clients end up coming back for just massages.
Yeah.
Go figure.
So, after that whole thing, Mob talks with Reagan about how maybe I should be doing something more with my time and pursue my interests. He's like, "What are your interests?" I don't know. All right, well, nothing wrong with the going home club. Just fucking
Yeah,
do nothing and then come hang out with me and
yeah.
ghosts and shit. Yeah,
If you're just gonna goof off anyways, just have fun goofing off.
yeah. Um, and then we get an interlude with the telepathy club, where one of their members quits because it's creepy and weird, and he doesn't want to be part of it anymore because people think he's creepy and weird. And
Understandably.
yeah, and yeah, there's food and video games on the table and stuff, so it's really just a fucking excuse to do nothing after school and just hang out. It's a hangout club, basically.
Yeah.
Those exist. Like,
Those are in every anime.
no, those exist. I mean,
I know. And
that's
they're
a
also yeah, they do exist. I know there were a few in my high school.
I don't know about high. I don't think clubs were a really big thing unless it was sports in my high school. But university, absolutely, there's thousands of them. Though they called themselves societies there. So
Oh.
yeah, that was a thing. Um, so immediately the student council rep shows up and is like, "Hey, I just heard someone quit from this club. Cool. I'm going to abolish this club because you don't have enough members, so we can actually put the club that has enough members in this room. Cool? Cool." And They're like, no, 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 da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da. Basically,
It's
yeah.
just, but this is our sacred place where we hang out and build bonds of friends. He's like, shut up, no. He gets all angry,
Hmm.
and it's like, I'll tell you what, if you can't find another member by Friday, you're out of here.
Yeah,
Just sitting
because
around mucking
that's
up and
when
doing
the
nothing.
student council will meet and assign the
Yeah.
room to the thing and to make it official. So, yeah, they're like, okay, we need to find a new member. Um, all right, let's just ask everyone. But recruiting season's over. Well, we'll find someone in the entire school. There's got to be someone that would be, willing to join. Cue extended montage of them trying to find anyone to join the club, and you get repeated shots of them running down the hallway, looking increasingly haggard and zombie-like by the end of it. And as it goes on, more and more people are just like, no, it's creepy and weird. I don't want.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's
no.
creepy. No, it's
I
creepy.
have a job. I have no. It's creepy.
Hmm. Yeah. So they find no one, and eventually, one of the members shows up and is like, "Hey, I found this guy. He's like an actual ESP dude and stuff, and he's in the Go Home Club, and he doesn't do anything, and he sucks, but he's like,
He has no friends and no girlfriend, and Mob's like, well, that's basically right.
he's of the opinion that Mob has no job and mentions that, but Mob is like, that's basically right, but the job thing is actually not quite right. Um, So, like, hey, join the club and stuff. It'd be great because we telepathy and such. Just join the fucking club. Uh, and I was like, I can't. I have work at the exorcism place. So sorry.
Exorcism? Are you just joking? And so he calls Reagan, and he's like, "Is it all right if I'm late? They want to sign me up for a club." And he's like,
Fuck it.
"What?"
Blow it off. Come on over.
It's basically he's like, "Well, do you want to join the club?" And Rob's like, "Not really, no." It's like, "Okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell you
Join
to
the
come
club
over."
then, dumbass. Come on over.
He's like, I'll tell you to come over here, so that way you have to come over, and you can just not get out of that." And so he's like, "Yeah, sorry, Master says to hurry on over, so I gotta go."
Hmm.
My sensei,
Yeah.
and
She's like, let me talk to him. Puts her on the phone. Hmm. I said before I didn't like the art style. I still kind of don't. It's generally kind of ugly. Like, it's not bad, but it's ugly, and probably intentionally so.
Mhm.
The animation kind of complements it very well. Not in that it's ugly, but in how it
the
embodies the
designs,
ugliness pretty well.
the designs work really well for the animation. I
Yeah.
feel,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the key point I feel of them.
Yeah.
Uh,
So then we get the phone call and we have the split screen, much like this actually. So I could just
yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah. So just like you're looking the wrong direction, but cool.
this way, this
Yeah,
way, that
yeah,
way.
yeah.
Okay, I don't
So
know how this thing works.
that's cool. Don't worry about it. So
My
it's
it flips my. I think my
yeah, it
camera
flips mine
flips
too.
how I look.
Yeah. So
Either way,
you get her just screaming at him and saying how he's a fake, and then him, just,
he calls her an amateur.
yeah.
He's like, he's my student, so leave him alone. Stop bothering him.
Hmm.
you know, and stop trying to pull him into your scam shady club where you do nothing.
Yeah, and then she fakes tears, and Mom's like, "Hey, she's crying. No, it's crocodile tears. Don't worry about it." And then it's just a shot from in front of her, and she's just kind of wiping her forehead to make it look. Oh, 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 oh. Hmm.
Yeah,
He's like,
and
"No, I can't." So he leaves. That's pretty much.
and then he goes to work with Reagan, uh, dressed up in. Well, they have to cross dress for this next job.
I'm not comfortable with this.
And they had to get into the girls only high school because Reagan couldn't get permission to get in there officially.
Hmm.
because he's a shady exorcist guy. So, if,
Yeah, and then they show up at the school, and the campus security immediately cotton on because Reagan decided to not shave his legs or wear stockings, so his hairy legs are very on show. Which, in fairness, girls sometimes do that too. Whatever.
he's also kind of clearly an adult man
I don't
dressing up
know.
as a high school.
Face wise, I think he pulls it off, but that's just me.
Yeah,
Like the little
so
ponytail actually kind of works. It kind of pulls the whole thing together.
kind of. Uh,
So
so they're like, "Are you okay, young lady? You're safe from the pervert now.
yeah,
Go to mob."
lets him in.
And like Reagan's like, "Go,"
Mm.
as he gets taken away by the guards.
So Bob goes in and goes to the designated meeting spot, which is on the roof, which he finds delinquents there. That are like, "Hey, you suck. Fuck off." He introduces himself as like from
The
the
Constitution office.
consultant's office. Yeah, like you trying to correct our wayward behavior and such, and you can fuck off and die. And then they
Mob,
leave.
Mob being very socially awkward and not good with girls at all. He's just kind of like,
Hmm.
for all this.
And as they leave, two more girls come from on the roof of the roof, on the roof of the stairwell. Say, "Hey, we're the clients. Hi, dumbass." And they like, "What's with the whole get up and stuff?" And he's like, "Oh, we couldn't get permission to come in, so we had to improvise."
Where's and that's why obviously Reagan couldn't make it in there. And it's like, well, I'm not so sure about him. He doesn't seem so reliable. And he's just like, oh.
Hmm.
So they explained that they've been having a haunting in their school of things flying around. Like there was a bra floating in the locker room.
Saying some people get weird feelings sometimes, and one time a bra floated across the room, and it was a little.
Yeah. Strange noises to like. And he's like, okay, cool. Let me find this spirit.
Yeah. They wander around, and eventually Mob gets a feeling, and they're like, "Is this really a thing?" And he's like, "Ooh, it's angry." And they're immediately, which is probably a running theme in the show of them just saying, "Oh, it's agitated" or something, and then everyone's kind of on board immediately. It's like a fear response kind of thing, I guess. I don't know. So Mob tracks it to the basketball court, or the gym, really.
Yeah,
It's
and
going to be a combined gym with all the courts on it, like my school had.
Yeah. Creates a force field to trap it in there.
Yep. It's like, if we keep going, it's just going to get angrier. So this could go badly, just so you know. So they go in. Basketball team's playing basketball, and in the middle of making shot.
Yeah. 3 points. No, gets caught by the spirit.
I don't know whether it was a 3-pointer, but it was a shot that they were making.
Yeah.
And it gets caught in midair, and then the hand that catches it is seen as a giant green dude. It's basically just a giant green dude.
He's wearing like a middle school uniform. So it's like clearly like a former student now turned into this giant green monster ghost.
Well, this is a girls' high school, actually, but it's,
Yeah.
in hindsight, it's actually kind of weird that a middle school dude would be, as a ghost, would be hanging out. Like, are they supposed to haunt the place that they? We don't know the rules of this setting.
We don't know. Maybe the school was not an all girls school originally. Who knows how long that guy's been there?
So, Mob does his cool badass psychic thing of catching a punch and just cutting a dude's arm off and stuff, and protecting the girls when it's about to take a hostage, and then he basically just psychic explosion thing. And he doesn't look at it, and cool guys don't look at explosions, and I may have sung that when it came up. And
I may have sung that with him.
So, And then everyone's like, "Hey, this guy's great! I love this guy!
Well, this
Woo!"
girl, they're all like, this
Oh
girl,
yeah, this girl. Yeah.
where's she from? And he's just like, oh. And then you get the kind of, as the ghost is fading away, it kind of shows up. It's like this awesome sort of oil painting animation thing,
Hmm.
in which it's like, in which the ghost is like, he's like, you took away my paradise. Oh, I couldn't live my life to the fullest in life, and now, you know, now I can't get anything.
Yeah.
And
It was pretty impressive animation of just that little splodge of whatever it was. It just gradually shifts into that guy's bust, essentially, shoulders and
yeah,
head.
because
And
that's like tons of different paintings going over and over and over each other. Like that, the way
yeah,
they animate that, like
yeah, I didn't even notice it was happening until it had already happened. That was really impressive.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, he talks about how his life was shit and he was just a loser, and life didn't get interesting until he was already dead, and asks if Mob is really living life to the fullest.
hmm which mom's like, am I? Cut to
Yeah.
later, mom's just kind of in the bath, like knees to his chest, staring into his reflection,
Hmm.
and then he's just, yeah,
Sitting there, and then his brother comes through, and he's like, "Hey, you all right? Yeah, cool." And that's pretty much the end of the conversation. So the brother character is basically nothing so far, literally nothing.
the brother character comes in to be very important later on. Instances like that,
I would hope
yeah.
so, given how much focus he's gotten and has done literally nothing.
uh, they're building it up. They're building him up slowly, I guess, very very slowly, because he's gonna kind of have a much more important role later on into the season.
Okay, so yeah, Mob goes to school and he goes to the telepathy club after school, and he's like, "Hey, I'm like, oh, you came back, you're gonna join and stuff." And then the student council guy shows up with the bodybuilding
The Body
club.
Improvement
Yeah,
Club.
this bodybuilding club. Let's be real.
Yeah,
Um,
body improvement. There's a significant difference in between bodybuilding and body improvement. Bodybuilding, you're building your body to be
they
very
very
like.
much look like bodybuilders. Let's
This
be
is all
real.
about body improvement, though.
Okay.
About getting stronger and reaching new heights.
Yeah, so they're all like a group of five bodybuilder-looking dudes that look very gruff and share the student council rep's appearance of just being no nonsense. Um, and no, you can't shut down our club. We have a new member. See, this is what's his name? They actually know his name, but I don't.
Mob.
Well, yeah, but his last name I don't know. What the fuck. Um,
Shigeo.
so sure. So they say, "Hey, he's gonna join our club," and the student council guy's like, "Do you really want to join this club where they do nothing but just bullshit and play video games and eat
Like,
shitty food?
yeah. What do you want?
Is there not something you want to do?"
Yeah, he's like, do you want to live your life? Mom's like, I want to live my life to the fullest. And he's like, do you really think you'll be living your life to the fullest with these guys? Like, what do you like? Don't join a club that you have no interest in.
Yeah.
And
What
Mob
do you
thinks,
actually want to do? And he remembers hanging out with his girlfriend, or he would
no.
wanted to be, and she's like that in like before primary school, like nursery school, and they're hanging out on the playground, and he's psychically lifting a small animal or something.
Frog. And
Frog, that was
it's
it.
like, see, it swims and if you float it up in the air.
It's
It's like,
pretty
oh,
cool.
that's cool. And
Yeah,
then now the
makes
bar's
the
going. It's
monkey
like,
bars bendy. Woo! It's
oh, that's
awesome.
cool. Now look, Subami-chan, it's a dog. It's like, ah,
I've already seen
okay,
that. I don't care.
I'm bored. And he's like, and then it cuts to later on when he's in a race at like a sports festival.
And he's
And
shit, and then she's all over the guy that wins. He's like, oh. So he, in the present time, he immediately turns around and says, "I would like to join the club," and joins the Body Improvement Club. And they're like, "Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool, new member. All right, let's do this." And they're all super welcoming immediately, and that's great because you see them originally, and it's like, oh, they're gonna be the jock stereotype of assholes, and no, they're all super into it. It's great.
So the Body Improvement Club is really nice and supportive
Yeah,
throughout the
yeah,
entire
that
show.
improvement. Yeah,
Yeah, they're extremely supportive and nice and encouraging, and it's just they're great. And I love that. What really caught me with this episode when I originally watched it was normally you get the like, oh, this person has this talent, so they join this club. Mob's
that
like,
is related to
no,
that talent, and he's like,
yeah,
no, I'm gonna join this thing.
yeah, because I want to better myself.
Yeah,
So a lot of
so good.
characterization. Yeah, a lot of characterization for Mob in this episode that I really feel like this should have been the first episode, and it would have grabbed a lot of more people
Hmm.
than it did. Because there's a lot of character stuff that happens in this episode that helps to characterize Mob.
There is, but if this was the first episode, there would have had to be a lot more time spent on establishing rather than developing, and that's
Yeah,
yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah.
So
Oh well. I
yeah,
guess the establishing episode required a bit more filler, but they couldn't have just had this as the establishing episode.
true.
That wouldn't have
So
worked.
what do you think? Like it?
I like this episode. It's so
Yeah.
good. I hope the bodybuilding club is just very prominent in this series because
Uh,
those guys seem cool in the
as
5 seconds I saw them.
as somebody who's basically read almost the entirety of the manga, because it's like I say almost the entirety because it's not finished yet,
Mm.
and it's still ongoing. It's about to finish. The Body Improvement Club are recurring characters, and they're all become really close friends, and it's really nice.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good. I'm happy about that. All right. So yeah, I really like this episode. Like I say, the animation is amazing. The art style is ugly as shit, but is not shit. Is
The
it's really
art
hard to get
style,
across.
the
It's
art, yeah,
gross is the way to describe it,
yes,
but
it's
intentionally so to an extent.
it's gross, and that grossness allows for great animation, if that makes sense.
Eh, like they could have just had a fairly standard art style, and the animation would still have been great. But there are things that they can do with the animation that makes it a little bit better, just because the art style is just ugh. Like you can morph things more because it doesn't matter because it's ugly in the first place.
Yeah. Well, we get to see a lot more of what they can do with this art style as we get through this series.
It's like Psychonauts for a fairly modern example of why this works. Like Psychonauts is art-wise breathtaking, but also ugly and distorted and warped, and all the characters are weirdly proportioned. And, ugh. But
Yeah.
it works because they play with it so much. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's yeah. I think it's a similar thing working there. Funnily enough, both shows about psychics. Just
Yeah.
well,
If you're gonna do
shows.
something mental, you might as well play with
Yeah,
things like that.
yeah. So yeah, I really like this. I like the character stuff. I like that Reagan stops being prominent when Mob decides to think for himself, which is nice because
Yeah.
yeah,
He's the cheapest exorcist around, and he gives massages. But if the story's about Mob,
yeah. So that was cool. Like I still don't like the character, so the fact that he shows up to be an obstacle in this episode rather than a benefit is preferable to me. Um, yeah. So
yeah,
I don't know what I think about the Telepathy Club, but I feel like they will be very minor characters from this point forward.
they'll
Or
have
at least the girl will. She seemed like she would have some relevance, possibly.
they'll be recurring, but are much later in the manga, way after the to the point where it's near the closer to the end than anything else. There is an arc about the telepathy club that focuses solely on her and a lot of stuff that happens with it. But otherwise, they're going to take a relatively minor role, I feel, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah. So this was great. Like, a little bit Monster of the Week, but not really. Like, it was so tangential to the actual progression of the episode.
Yeah,
I kind of forgive it.
that monster. So one thing that's really interesting about this is that, like, that when they made the anime for this, they reorganized the manga a lot of the way. So the whole thing where they infiltrate the academy actually takes place like 50 chapters later than where it would, for example. But they kind of retrofitted it and made it work so that that part would be more integral to Mob's character, so you could have a time to like think about it of, should I be living life to my fullest? So,
yeah,
because so
like I appreciate that they really condensed that whole thing. Like, it's, oh, there's a spirit and we're scared, and it's like, okay, let me track it. Okay, I tracked it. Okay, let's go deal with it. Okay, I dealt with it, and that's it. It's so quick and just done with, and that's really beneficial for the sake of pacing. It's way better.
I think from here on, it will stop being Monster of the Week and more like things are going to start building on each other as it goes on.
Okay, so outro.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you all for watching. This was Zero Interest for Mob Psycho episode 2. We'll see you guys next time with episode 3, which has a long title which I can't remember or say without tripping over my own words.
You couldn't say telepathy earlier.
Telepathy. I can say it. I swear. Telepathinus. Okay. Cut it out. Let's just stop the episode. There we go.